hope all is well for you. Today we will see what does it mean that wealth is created. This video is brought to you by Question Response. Thanks to Hector Quintanilla, Manuel Estavio, Alio Al-Shamsi and Alio Al-Shamsi for sharing their views with us. Let's go for Hector Quintanilla's first answer.
You go to Walmart to buy 1 cup of salted butter, 65 cents. 1 cup of white sugar, 15 cents. 1 cup of brown sugar, 15 cents. 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 5 cents. 2 large eggs, 15 cents. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, $1.50. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 5 cents. 1/2 tablespoon of baking powder, 5 cents. Total, $2.75 USD. Next, you go home and bake 30 cookies. Then you deliver them to a party and get paid $30 for your 30 fresh baked cookies. You just created $30 minus $2.75 of expenses equals $27.25 of wealth. So, to answer your question, what does it mean that wealth is created? Created wealth means the value that someone else was willing to pay for it. In my example above, the value was going to Walmart, buying the ingredients, preparing the cookies with your secret recipe, delivering them to the customer. The profit of $27.25 was the value, wealth, you created during this transaction. The more value you can deliver to the market, the more wealthy you will become.
We can continue with Manuel Estavelo's answer.
It means that a new way to extract utility from existing resources has been found. As an example, suppose I have 2 left shoes and someone else has 2 right shoes. We each trade one of our shoes for another one. Now both of us has 1 left shoe and 1 right shoe. The actual number of existing shoes hasn't actually changed, there are still 4 shoes in total. But we can extract more utility from them now, as we can use them to walk around, when we couldn't before. A similar process occurs in every trade that someone makes. When somebody trades with someone, he does it with the belief that what he receives will be more useful to him than what he traded it for, and vice versa. Since personal utility is mostly subjective, they're right.
The next answer is from Alio Al-Shamsi.
Hi, meet Earl and Steve. Both were given worthless rocks. Earl made a useless square wheel. Steve made a useful round wheel. Steve sold his wheels for food and clothes. Steve created wealth. Steve hired Earl to make more wheels. Wealth in return, he gave Earl some food and clothes. Steve distributed some of his wealth to his employee. Be like Steve. Wealth is created when you create demand for a product or service. Created wealth can be distributed.
The next answer is from Alio Al-Shamsi.
This question makes it important to highlight why open economy, international globalized economy, is better than closed one. First, let us understand what wealth is. You see, the key to wealth is that it's worth something to someone to give you leverage of value so you can execute a transaction with it. That means without demand anything is worthless. Allow me to draw an image for you. You and me stuck in a desert. You have gold. I have barely enough water for me to survive. There is no way I am trading you my water for your gold, and if I do, there is no way you will exchange it back. For now my water has more value than your gold and I have leverage over you. If I want to enslave you, I can. Basically how evil dictators operate in closed economies. Now in a city or country with extreme water shortage, I still have an advantage if I control water sources. So wealth will originate with control over basic needs. People will pay up the gold to get the water and I will send my gold outside the country as an evil dictator. How else will I control the country's water sources? Closing parenthesis. In other words, the demand is pretty much concentrated on needs and every other wealth is spent on it. What happens when you have an open economy? Well, what is valueless to you in closed economy, like gold in desert, becomes valuable to someone else in the world. Making everything valuable, even trash. That is why you see some countries import other countries' trash for energy. There is even people who sell shit in a bag on the internet, and it sells. This is why open economy is better than closed economy, because wealth can be created out of anything because there is a demand for anything. To answer your question, in a closed economy wealth is not created. Wealth is fixed on basic survival needs because there is no demand on anything else if you cannot stay alive. That makes the economy limited to local resources to cover needs, thus makes demand unlimited for a limited resources, making it resource-based economy. Because the demand is unlimited to limited survival needs, there is no demand for luxuries or anything for that matter, because unlimited demand will inflate the prices for the limited resources indefinitely until the economy opens up. Open economies can make use of economy of scale model to produce more and their costs drop lower and lower, giving the economy an export advantage for some products or services the country is wealthy with, like oil for Arab countries. That is why you hardly find a country produce everything internally and totally depend on the internal product, because it will be more expensive. So importing IT services from India is cheaper for a country like UAE because India has a wealth of people while UAE has fraction of the people compared to India, and it needs many of them for other critical jobs for its existence like military. or USA importing oil from UAE even though it has its own oil, but it is cheaper to import from UAE the oil. Otherwise, if USA uses its own oil as the only source for gas, the price of fuel will spike because it is limited and more expensive to produce compared to UAE. The lesson is wealth is created when economy is not limited in supply and demand.
This is the end of the video. I hope you have more answers. If this answer helps you, please help us too by leaving a like and subscribing to this channel. It allows us to move forward on YouTube. The video is over. You can continue discussing this question in the comments or find another question that interests you. See you next time.